Okay, so I've got a couple different reds, a yellow and some greens. I'm going to dust these first. And these are the centers, and I want to actually move these because I don't want to mistake them for dry ones. So let me move them over there. Okay, so I have, this is moss green also. I also have Chartreuse. And then the yellow is daffodil, although it doesn't matter what kind of yellow you get. I think that's the only one they make. These are all petal dust. They're not the shiny kind. Okay, let me get my brushes. Let me get my handy brushes over here. Move this stuff out of the way. So I still have to put it together on the cake. All right, so we've got a brush here. For the newly formed buds, they're going to be mostly green. I use moss green, and I use the lids because I like to tap. You can tap it on the paper towel is pretty much just so I don't make a mess on my counter because it's hard to clean up. And I'm lazy. But you guys already knew that. Okay, so it's mostly green. They say to use lime green, but I find lime green doesn't show up, so I don't use it. Okay, so you just dust it. So it's mostly the little shade of the yellow showing through on the top. Those are the buds. The ones that are starting to open, they go about halfway up with the green. So we start at the bottom and go about halfway up. So that you can see the yellow much better on the top. I really see the yellow there. Okay, and then for the ones that are flowering, you're going to have the green at the base. And I'm using Cherry Love, and I think it's Kiko, K-I-K-O. Really just any dark red. Those are the two reds, but I'm using Cherry Love right now. And I'm using that for the actual bulb here. Dust it red with yellow tips. That's what I remember doing. I don't have my flower in front of me. Okay, and the tops were yellow, which is why I had the yellow here. I knew I had it here for a reason. The very top is yellow, because that's the pollen that's on it. When you look at it, I remember seeing the yellow on the tips. Get that yellow on there. Okay, it's good because we're going to steam it. Can't see it. Actually, you probably can't see that either. It's just yellow right on the top. And this has a little tiny, when these guys are popping out, these guys, see how when they're popping out like this, they get a little tiny tinge of red on them when they're just getting ready to flower. They get a little tiny tinge of red, so you can do some that are like this and get that little tinge of red at the top too. Just when they're getting ready to burst. That's what they look like. Kind of rusted colors. Oh, yes? He's raising his hand.
I am. I'm raising my hand.
Yes?
Okay. Maria Rose would like to know, do you just study a flower and develop your own method to create it?
Yes and no. I know enough on how to manipulate the paste. I know how to make leaves, how to make petals, how to make certain parts of flowers. So yeah, that's basically what I do. I study a flower. I always have the real thing in front of me, if I can get it, and then I make my flower from that.
Excellent. And what size brush do you use?
Oh, whatever. I use a little brush for little tiny areas. This is like a number 1. And then I use a bigger brush for bigger areas. You're going to find what works for you. This is like a number 3 flat. Sometimes I use round, I use flat. So, you know, whatever works for what size area you're doing. I'm going to be using a really big to do my leaves right now. This is like a number 9 round. Okay, so let's do that right now because we're running out of time. I've got to show you how to get this on the cake. Put it together.